Hi everyone, welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. This is Marcello Nino. Nino's not with us today. Today's April 8th, 2014. Now I'm going to do what I've done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars. First, guys, we're going to walk through how it works. Then we're going to go do our market analysis, and then if there are any trades that we had taken, we're going to talk about those trades. All right, so our formula for success over the long haul is doing our 5 p.m. market analysis to determine the bias, and then with that bias, we execute in one of two ways or both. We take a set and forget it trade. That means that we either get into the trade or set our trade up, setting the stop loss and take profit. We don't look at it again until the next day. Now, number two, we can day trade in the direction of our bias using our pods, our points of decision, to determine the best entries, the pinpoint entries in the market. If you want to know more about that, go to www.tribeforex.com. We do have a trading course in there. Okay, having said that, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. So, guys, I'm actually going to use IBFX. Now, it does not close at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so if you notice a difference in your own charts, that's why. It's because I'm using a different chart because FXDD is completely tripping out for whatever reason with its platforms and the MT4 platforms, etc. All right, so let's talk about where we're at and how this thing works. All right, so the euro dollar, we actually thought we were going to get a sell, and I thought we were going to get a sell right about 37.70 to 37.80. You can see here that price did continue to move up, and it moved up to about 38.10. You can see I have another area of support and resistance there, and I want to talk about that. All right, and boom, 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 boom. If we go to the monthly, I think we'll see it more clearly. So if we go to the monthly here, we have two major touches. We came very close to a third one, and the fourth one happened last month. This basically shows us that there's a tremendous amount of confirmation as far as this trend line is concerned. Now, we did have price that broke up above it, but did close below it, and so that gives us reason to believe that we could have a sell from here. Now, guys, we have not seen that so far. We've gotten a lot of buy movement, and it scares a lot of people, and maybe that's the whole point of it. Now, when you have 1, 2, or 3 touches like this, we could get a retest back up to that 200 pip mark, 39.65. Don't get me wrong, price can absolutely continue to move up if it wanted to, but the likelihood, there's basically, if I can be real with you, there's a 60 to 70% shot. 70% shot that price is going to continue to move within areas of consolidation. So what do we know for sure? We know that we have breakouts, and breakouts occur about 10 to 15% of the time, 10% of the time, to be honest with you. We have trends which occur about 20% of the time, and then we have consolidation. That's back and forth movement that occurs. When I say back and forth, it stops within these areas of support and resistance that occurs about 70% of the time. So if you play it for consolidation, yes, you're going to lose sometimes. And no matter what strategy you have, you're going to lose at some point, but it's probably the safer bet out of all of them, if you will. Now, if we obviously get a move above these areas, guys, above this zone, and we break this area of support and resistance, which is actually resistance for us at 1.3961. Clearly, if we get a bounce off those support areas once they become support after being resistance, we're going to be looking for a continuation to the upside. I am not sold on a sell here completely. I am given to whatever makes more sense and whatever has a higher probability, and that's exactly what's happening here on the euro dollar. There's a greater probability that price is going to get into a trend, and that trend is going to be down about 700 pips on the euro dollar. So we'll wait and see what happens, guys. We're going to play this thing out and see where price takes us from there. I think what generally happens in the market, and if I can just be as blunt as possible, the market makers, they shift your understanding and your paradigm by pushing price up in another direction, scaring you out of your wits, and then you forget exactly what your plan was, and then they go ahead and they go in the real direction that they wanted to go in the first place, and then they price ends up dropping the way that we always believed it would. And of course you guys are left in the right, having done the right thing, or believed the right thing I should say, but with nothing in your coffers because you gave it up at the top of the market. So anyway, that's what happens, and that's what a market maker's for. They are masters of psychology, and if you get that, then you basically have a lot of the game. So we'll see how it plays out, guys. This could also break the high and continue to move up. That's why we use proper risk management, and that's just how the game's going to be played. All right, so euro dollar, right now we're at the top. We just hit that channel. This is kind of a tough one for me, to be honest with you, especially after all that talk I just did. But we came above this zone here. Price closed back within the zone on the monthly. And if I could actually, I'm going to go to a chart that actually does have the 5 p.m. close. Must be thinking about that 5-hour energy drink I drank, that I've been drinking all week long, to be honest with you. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take a look. I'm actually in my TradeStation charts right now, just because they do close at 5 p.m., so I'm going to get a more accurate depiction of what is going on with price. And so here we are on the daily. Now I'm going to shift to the monthly, just so we get a very clear idea. All right, that didn't work. Try something else. All right, there we go. All right, so basically it's the same chart for us on the monthly here. There's two places that we can place this. We can place it at the high. And then we're sitting dead on the highs here. Now you've got 1, 2 touches, 3 full touches, and then fourth. And then we just kind of broke above it. And if price closes above this, then we're going to be, at the end of this month, then we're going to be looking for a continuation of buy to the upside, but we don't have that quite yet. All right, so that is what's going on in the monthly. This is the same pennant that I showed you. I'm looking for price to come down for the time being, and the risk-reward ratio, it's much better. So 39.78 or 39.70 in that area is our stop. If you want to play a long-term play, 37.02, where are we? 37.90. It's not so bad. 130 pips or so. Sorry. All right, so we're at 37.94, and then this is at, it's about 200 pips. So so about 37.90, really taking us down potentially to 128.19, or taking us to, the 130 mark is probably safer. Now that's still about 700-800 pips if you get into this play and you play it all the way down. So it's definitely a 1-to-4 ratio, a risk to reward. That's always good. If we do get it, if we don't, so be it. There's always the next trade. That's why we've got to use proper money management, and why we generally don't use pip value, just don't use lot values, if you will. We use actual position sizing. Keeps us really safe. All right, so that's that on the euro dollar monthly. So just so you get a broad overview of what's going on here, I kind of want to take a look at the weekly again. You can see that price is pushed up here to 138.00, and so yeah, that's that. Take a look at the daily while I'm on this. Okay. All right, so we'll have to see how this plays out, guys. To be honest with you, we're kind of sitting right on the trend line. We could see price continue to move to the upside. We could see price pull back. And as you can see here, there is clearly a uptrend, midterm uptrend, as you can see. Boom. There it is. Now, why did I choose this line? I chose this line because we have multiple touches. So many, 20 touches most likely on the daily here. And so this is kind of an outlier. The rest of them are in line here. And so, you know, that's where we're at on this. So you can see that we did kind of bounce off of it, and we can see a potential move to the upside. Alrighty, back to business. So, you know, so short term, it looks like it can go up. Long term, I think it clearly says that it can go down. That there's a great potential for price to continue to move down. And we did kind of have a close below the 50% fib area, also below the trend line, which is good for us. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it's a really strong candle. It's just really, really strong. So let me actually just take another look at this trade station. Yeah, so it's very, very close to the top here. We could see price continue to move up. For today, I'm going to sit out. I currently have a sell on, and if that sell is closed out, if we break that reversal candle to the upside, to the downside, a sell reversal candle, I'm going to, you know, wait until I get another opportunity. While keeping in mind that, you know, the overall sentiment from a technical standpoint is a sell. So that's that. All right, so the pound dollar. So you can see that closed very, very high up, and it did close right on our 167.50 area. Now, we expected that price was going to potentially come to one of these three areas of resistance, and it just blew right through 16600 up to 167.50. So that's about a 150 pip move, and it did close below our 167.56. Now, why is that important to us? Well, if we look here, we had this big, looking at the monthly here, we have this very strong area of resistance here, and we're kind of just sitting right on it right now. So, you know, it's not even an area for a breakout, to be honest with you. I mean, it really does tend to, this pattern, looking at it from the monthly, really does tend to cater toward a nice sell-off here on the pound dollar. It just does. We're not even in the apex. And looking for it on the way down, we do have about a 1,200, 1,300 pip move potentially on the pound dollar. So looking at it from that standpoint, we've had multiple touches. A monthly chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and now we're on number 11. You know, very strong area of support and resistance, really standing at resistance right now for us. And at 167.50, also a psychological area as well. We could easily see price really bounce off of this by the end of the week and really begin to make its descent. And if that happens, there's tremendous profitability to be gained here. So keep that in mind. We did have some strong, very, very strong up days, and I don't want you to get caught up in this idea that price is going to move in this direction or another. That's why I say use proper risk management. There's about a 200 pip move to the very highest high, our swing high here of this pound dollar, and so the risk reward is excellent. It's 7 to 1, or 1 to 7, I should say. So risk reward is 1 to 7. That means for every dollar risk you can make $7. So that is just a great risk reward here on the pound dollar. Looking at what we have to get down to the areas of support here on this pound dollar. So that's something to consider. All right, so the dollar Swiss, I don't know what to say about this dollar Swiss. We did have price. We drew a trend line right under here, and it really did follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our first few bars there as we started to make our ascent. Now price has stopped at that area. We could easily see price break through this area and continue to move down. What do I see? Looking from the upper time frame, I don't really see an awful lot, to be honest with you. I mean, we had this nice buy reversal candle, and we see nothing but consolidation here. Looking at the monthly of the dollar Swiss, it's just been playing around. Now we are at all-time lows on the dollar Swiss, which, if we believe and have an idea of the numbers wanting to get back to norms, if you will, if you have that theory, then it would be time for that. And if there's consolidation, then it's most likely going to go that route. It's going to find itself back to its mean. It's not going to stay at these extreme levels for very long. But then again, that's what the market does. It continues to move down. So I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth, if you will. I'd just say that we did stop on this trend line, and it's going to be interesting to see where price goes from here. I don't currently have a call on this. I think that we could see price bounce off this area and begin to move up. If it does pass below that area, guys, then we're going to look for a retest of this lows here at 87. What is that? 8,700, 86.98. So that's what we can look for, and it's really going to come to to head at this point of decision here at this trend line, which is where exactly we are right now. Okay. Dollar CAD, I said we were going to get a sell on that. We did get a sell. So guys, by the way, let me just say this. So here I wanted to sell on the euro dollar, did not get a sell on the euro dollar. We're still in some sells that are currently down a few pips at this point. Okay, so we're at 137.93, and we've got in at 137.75 in that vicinity. So if you're in Tribe, that's when you got into, or Build Wealth, that's when you got into that trade. The dollar CAD, I called a sell on that. That was a beautiful sell, and you can see that that sell did really come through from high to low. We've got 60 pips, 65 pips here, and so that's the dollar CAD. So it did very, very well there. Pound dollar, I also wanted to see a sell on that pound dollar. You can see that pound dollar really just moved straight up, and it's right back to those highs here at the 167.50 area. Now, if we did see price move above this and really close above this and really close above the highest of the swing high, of the swing high here, which is at 168.21, we could see price continue to move up. And what I would look for to believe that price was going to continue to move up is a retest of this 167.50 area, which is so strong. Now, if price breaks above this, comes back down, retest the 167.50, then I'm in it. I'm going for it as far as a buy is concerned. Until that happens, I'm not looking for a buy here. I'm just going to look for a price to give me an opportunity so I can get in on my 1,400 pip run to the downside. Okay, and so that is where I'm at on the pound dollar. I'm kind of sitting out of these trades. I'm not really sitting in them. I kind of am looking for what price is going to do at these points of decision. All right, New Zealand. All right, so the New Zealand. Okay, I called a sell on the New Zealand as well. And guys, we do have a sell on the New Zealand. So finally, the New Zealand really showing, oh, that's the dollar CAD. Sorry, guys. I apologize. So price did move up on the New Zealand, and I wanted to sell on this New Zealand as well. And I did call it right at 86.86. So you can see that price really broke right off of this 86.86 area, okay, right where I have this trend line. And there's a reason for that. Because if you go to the weekly, that is our pennant. That's where our consolidation is coming in. Also, another great opportunity on the way down here on the New Zealand. These are really great opportunities, guys. I mean, it doesn't look like that. It seems dismal if you're thinking about a sell right now, but that's the whole point of the game. So what we need to do is, what we really want to do is, just be careful and watch for that. We've had multiple touches here, obviously, on the weekly. I can go all the way across here, and we can see multiple touches here, even on the monthly. On the New Zealand. So what I'm going to be looking for, kind of sticking, isn't it? So we've got multiple touches here on the monthly, and if I go down the weekly, I see those multiple touches as well. Really at this area of resistance, I'm going to be looking for a sell-off here, and that's going to give us some good opportunities as well. So just talking about swing high to swing low, we've got about 180 pips to the top, and we've got about 600, 550 pips down to down low. So if you can get price to stay within, we're only 29, 30 pips away from the high of this particular range. If price breaks that high, then just get out of it and wait till price turns back around. But keep in mind that there's a tremendous amount of potential for price to move down here. Now, guys, get this. We did have, and I don't want to just make this slanted one-sided. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my U.S. dollar index. And the dollar index clearly shows us that we've had some down movement here on the U.S. dollar, and we're not quite there yet. We do have kind of a push down. I'm looking for areas of support and resistance, and I kind of have an area of support here if the market decides to consider it. It's right about in here, okay? And it's about 10,400 on the U.S. dollar index, okay? And I actually drew this line previously. That's interesting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, and if you go across, you'll see the very same thing over here. So we do have, we could get a little push down, or we could really see price begin to push up here on this dollar index. So we did have just a very nice push down to the downside here on the dollar index, and so that explains some of the movement that we've seen. Okay, so let me keep this thing moving here. So look, like I said, New Zealand dollar, I'm looking at the weekly. I'm looking macro wise, and we're kind of right there at the top. We're right there at 86.86, which is really the area of resistance. That's the play. Look for a sell right off those areas. Aussie dollar continues to make its ascent, continues to move up here, and we've just crossed through 61.8. We're right at another 38.2 fib area, and I really don't have much to say about that. I think that it can continue to move up, certainly, and we don't have any trend lines to stop it. All right, so if it stops itself and gives us a psychological area, there's an area there for us to look at, maybe 9,400 perhaps, then that's what will be our new swing high, and then we'll be able to draw a trend line, and then we can see some real opportunities on the Aussie dollar. Until then, either you're in the buy side, if that's what you're into, or you're not taking any trades, and that's that. All right, so the euro yen, I basically said from the top of this thing that we're going to get a sell all the way down, and boy did we. Man, I was right on point as far as the yen pairs and the dollar CAD were concerned. Not so much on the euro dollar and the pound dollar, but I was really right on as far as the dollar CAD, the euro yen, pound yen, and the dollar yen. So the pound yen, looking at the euro yen first, sorry. Euro yen, we've been in this pennant. We're right here. It bounced right off of that area of support and resistance, that support area right below in our pennant. We could see price go back up. We could see it. But we are in the apex now, guys, and this is the red zone. What does that mean for us? That means that we could easily see price break out and continue to move down here. So what's really going to be telling of what price wants to do, what the market wants to do with this area, this point of decision, is what it does with this point of decision. And so watch out for that. We passed through 50 EMA through the Bollinger Midband, and we did close above the trend line. So that's kind of ambiguous. It doesn't really tell us very much. Really a nebulous zone there, if you will. We're not going to look for any trade on that euro yen today, although all the other trades were right on. Okay, so this pound yen, same thing. We said sell on that, and we did. We got a nice sell, 50 EMA. 50 EMA sold off and really got down to, price sold off on the pound yen, got down below the 50 EMA and then closed above it. So I don't really have a call for this either because it didn't hit the bottom of our range that we wanted to on the trend line. And so, it's kind of in this middle place that doesn't really give us a tremendous amount of opportunity. The dollar yen, that was the clearest one. Remember that I said that. Dollar yen is going to be very clear. And basically that was our sell. That was our great opportunity. And clearly it was the clearest sell that we had. And it was beautiful, beautiful sell. 150 pips, which we haven't gotten in a while on this pair, and it closed right below that area of support. All right, so we're getting into the red zone here on the dollar yen. Once again, guys, we can see price get down to this 101.10 area from where we are. If it does do that, then we'll take it from there and see how price reacts. We're still here in this zone for the trend line, for the support area of the trend line, and so we have to wait and see what price is going to do from here. And so it's at a point of decision once again. So what do I say about the dollar yen? I mean, I could easily say that it's a sell here down to the 200 MA, but I choose not to at this juncture, because we're kind of sitting very close to this support area. And I think this pennant has more to give if it wants to. So we just have to see what the market decides to do with it. We may get priced down that way and then a bounce back up. We'll see what happens. Let's see what the second area of support is, because there's another zone of support. Yeah, that's way out of our range, so I'm not going to look at that right now. Okay, so that's that. So I hope I've given you some insight. As far as the euro yen is concerned, or the euro dollar is concerned, I'm really key on the trend line, the support area, the resistance area that we're at. The dollar CAD doesn't look like it's turning back yet. If it does, by the way, we are at an area of support as well. It looks almost identical, mind you, to or it looks very similar. It looks, relatively similar to the dollar index that I just showed you, and for good reason. It's clearly got the dollar portion of it running this particular trade right now. So we did call a sell from the top here, and we got down to the bottom, called another sell where we are. We're going to have to wait and see what happens at this 1.0900 area, see how the market reacts to it, but there is some support there, so guys, watch out for that. The pound dollar just really drove itself up to 167.50. All these currency pairs, I got to be honest with you, they're all at points of decision, and they're all acting like they know that they're at a point of decision. And so that's honestly, it can be a safe zone, a really good place to take a trade, or it can be a danger zone. And because we don't see a lot of pullback on these pairs, or a lot of confirmation that price is going to pull back on these pairs at all, there's not an awful lot that I want to say about them. So, forgive me if you're not getting an awful lot out of me, because there's not a lot to give. All of these pairs are stopping right on these trend lines, right on these areas, these support and resistance areas. Okay, and that's why there's not an awful lot to say about that. All of them, New Zealand, euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, all of them except for the Aussie dollar, which has just got a clear run right now. Looking at it, euro yen, look at that, right on the support and resistance area. Pound yen on the 50 EMA, and of course the dollar yen, which is past that area, looks like could sell off a little bit more, but it's still in that zone. It's still right there on the dollar on the dollar yen on the area of support. So I really don't have a ton to say about that, guys. You just be aware of what you're looking at. Trade carefully is what I would say. What am I saying here on this dollar yen? Yeah, look at that, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, 6 touches. So really this dollar yen has a good opportunity. It also is sitting on an area of support and resistance, clearly. So all of these peers, all of them have shown themselves to be at a point where they have to make a decision whether they're going to continue to move up or move down. And so what I would say is this is a consolidation play on a macro level. So look for how price is going to play out at these areas of support and resistance that I've shown you. Put them on your charts. If you're day trading, look for them and look for how the market is reacting at those levels. Okay, and if there's any kind of convergence with other price action, other areas of support and resistance that you can use to confirm a potential move. And that is it, guys. With that, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have more to say. Not a ton to say today. So I'll talk to you soon. Happy trading. And guys, just look for those trend lines. Actually, I do have a lot to say. Look at those trend lines that I've just shown you. Look at those areas of support and resistance. That's going to be where you're going to see price action. It's really going to tell us where price wants to go from here going forward. All right, with that, all the best, guys. See you on the other side. I'll talk to you tomorrow.